Okay, so I'm going to be reading chapter 3 of this book now. It's upside down again. And I'm going to be reading chapter 3 of this book right here. And this book, if you don't know by now, is called The WWE Championship, a look back at the rich history of the WWE Championship. This is going to be my read aloud of chapter 3. And if you want to check out the other read alouds, you click right up there, because then you're going to not know what the fuck's going on. Some other stuff you want to check out, because I'll probably be out of breath by the time I'm done reading this book, part of the book, is you can check out down below my Owen the Talkinator, my non-wrestling YouTube channel, and I have another series on this channel that I'm doing. You check out the Massasoit Wrestling Corner over here. That's going to be coming back this Friday, September 11th, 2015. Friday, 9/11/15. Yes, I understand you guys are gonna hate me for picking that date to bring back the series, but that's the day we picked. We didn't even know what the date was at the time, so I'm sorry. It's just how it happened. We didn't mean for that to happen. And don't get offended, by the way. You're the same people that would get offended if I asked you what time it was and I said 9/11. It's no big deal. But yeah. Check out the Massasoit Wrestling Corner right there. You can check out all the past episodes, and we're going to be coming back with that Friday, September 11th, 2015. I hope you guys have a lot of fun, because I have another guy that hosts this show named James the Heatman Hebert, and he has 2 YouTube channels. One is over here. It's called James Hebert, and it's a YouTube channel where he makes custom Titantrons of professional wrestlers. And then somewhere on this video, you can check out his Raymond Youth Wrestling channel, where he's having a 32-man tournament to crown the very first ever WYW champion, and I'm one of those 32 people in that tournament, and I'm gonna win the whole thing and become the very first ever WYW champion. And you can check out somewhere in this video my CM Brothers channel, where I talk about both wrestling and non-wrestling topics. So now that I've gotten all that stuff out of the way, let me read this book. So I'm on chapter 3. Let me find it. Okay. Chapter 3. It's called 7 Years, 8 Months, 1 Day. You're going to find out why it's called that. If you're a wrestling fan, then you know why. Despite Bruno Sammartino's age and strength advantage, many fans were shocked to see the newcomer manhandle such a legendary competitor as Buddy Rogers. But to those who knew Sammartino immediately, the victory was a mere formality. The Bruno Sammartino they knew was a fighter who had spent much of his life overcoming unsurmountable odds just to survive. And that's the end of that sentence. So there's Bruno Sammartino with the belt. And there's a match he's having against Ivan Koloff. And you're going to find... I'm not going to tell you... Like I said, I'm not going to tell you because that's going to spoil the book. So let's continue with this. After watching him stare death in the eyes without even blinking, they knew there was no limit to what Sammartino could accomplish. As a young boy, Bruno and his family spent 14 months hiding from the Nazis in the mountains of Abruzzo, Italy. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm just going with that. During that time, rheumatic fever nearly claimed the future WWE champion. I guess that means he almost died from it. But he refused to give up. And when World War II finally ended, the Sammartinos traveled to Pittsburgh with hopes of starting anew. That's pretty screwed up stuff, by the way. But I glad he ended up surviving, because that was pretty screwed up stuff. Because I think he is Jewish, but it could have been something else. But World War II was a pretty scary situation, and he was around that time frame, so he already knew what it was like to have that stuff. For 14-year-old Bruno, life was considerably easier than what he was forced to endure in the mountains. However, he wasn't living the American dream. His schoolmates regularly tormented him for his inability to properly speak English. At just 8 pounds, the foreign newcomer could do little to stop the physical harassment of the large bullies. Because wrestlers do get bullied a lot in school. I don't think it's just wrestlers. It's just all these people you see famous in sports and stuff like that. They get bullied as kids, and I don't really know why, but that's just the case. Um, and I was gonna say something that's pretty cool too, that he had to hide in the mountains. He was pretty much cut off from society at that point. He didn't really know what was going on in the world. Uh, One day, after being pushed around one too many times, a determined Sammartino walked into his local YMCA. He began an expensive weightlifting program, and within 2 years, he had bulked up to an impressive 257 pounds, which is pretty impressive. That must mean he really worked hard. And there's Ivan Koloff again in the picture. I just wanted to make sure I brought that up. Needless to say, the bullying ceased, but Sammartino's growing passion for weightlifting did not. By the end of 1959, he had never owned world records. No, he had owned. I'm sorry, I read the words wrong. Let me read it again. By the end of 1959, he had owned world records for the bench press, 596 pounds, squat 715 pounds, and deadlift 700 pounds, which is impressive. A professional wrestling career was the logical next step for the accomplished weightlifter. Sammartino made his pro debut in 1959, defeated Dmitry Grabowski. I don't think that's how you say that. In a mere 19 seconds. The large Italian fan base in New York became instantly enamored. I don't know how to say that. By the Hogan countryman, and within 6 months he was headlining Madison Square Garden. But his career hit an unexpected speed bump after being suspended by many states' athletic commissions for unknowingly missing a match due to a scheduling snafu. I don't know what a snafu is, but I'm gonna look it up. Hold on 1 second. Let me look this up because of the. Oh. So I guess he just missed it. He didn't really know he was wrestling a match because I guess that time the frame. So let me continue. As a result, finding work in the United States became a difficult task. So he took his game north of the border. The move proved seamless for Sammartino, who was welcomed with open arms by Toronto's large Italian population. So that's pretty cool. He was just growing fan base, and everybody loved Bruno Sammartino. He was like the face of wrestling probably at that time. I'm just guessing, but that's what they're telling me here. He wasn't probably the face, but everybody loved Bruno Sammartino. And obviously he was wrestling in the in other wrestling companies, then he got suspended. After learning that Sammartino's popularity let me fucking read that again. After learning that Sammartino's popularity transcended borders, McMahon and Mont quickly paid his state athletic commission fines and lured him back to Capitol Wrestling full-time in February 1963. That's cool that they did that. So he had to pay tuitions because I guess he had like fines. I don't know what he had fines for. Maybe he didn't pay for some, but I'm not really sure. It doesn't really say. And that's nice that they did that for him because that got him off his back. He was able to get back into wrestling again. I don't know why the wrestling company didn't just do that before. But they wanted Sammartino too, so it probably was that too. 3 months later, he defeated Buddy Rogers to become... And he ended up working for the company too. That was cool. But let me continue. 3 months later, he defeated Buddy Rogers to become history's second ever WWE champion. For Sammartino, the win kicked off a moradic rise in popularity that reached well beyond the ring. Even the Pope was a fan. After learning of Sammartino's exploits, Pope Paul, I think it says the fourth, happily welcomed the champ to the Vatican for a private visit, which was really cool. That's like really cool. That's just saying how much they loved him right there. Alongside manager Arnold Scalland, I think is how you say that, Sammartino tirelessly toured the globe, were helping to give the newly formed championship its prestigious world title recognition. And he was and he wanted to make that title big because he beat Buddy Rogers like the biggest heel. Everybody, as it told me in his book, everybody hated Buddy Rogers, and they really wanted to get, they really hated him. And then when they finally got beat, everybody loved Sammartino. Everybody was already a big Bruno Sammartino fan. Everybody loved Bruno Sammartino, and that grew his fan base even more. So let me continue. And I think he was becoming like the big face of WWF, what stands for World. Well, actually, you should know if you watch the video. But he was slowly becoming a fan of WWF at that time. So let's continue. And now he's going on this tour where it's just going to give him like a big push right here. But it was in New York's Madison Square Garden where the champ had his greatest success against the likes of Gorilla Monsoon, Hans Mortar, Gene Kaninsky, Dr. Jerry Graham, and Killer Kowalski, who was generally regarded as the biggest threat to Sammartino during the 1960s because, it says it's going to continue. The two superstars battled in some of history's most brutal matches, most notably a vicious stretcher match under the stars at Boston's famed Fenway Park. The champ successfully retained the title that night after nailing Kowalski with a wooden chair. So they used wooden chairs instead of steel chairs at that time. But yeah, Bruno Sammartino was just going on a tear, beating everybody and retaining that title at all costs. Continuing, by 1971, Sammartino's nearly 8 years with the... Actually, before I talk about this paragraph, because at this point, yeah, he has had the title for 8 years. Sammartino was known as the longest reigning WWE champion, which, well, you should know, longest reigning WWE champion in history. And I just want to say, no one's going to beat that reign. No one's going to beat Bruno Sammartino's reign. I think I talked about this in my review when he faced Ivan Koloff for the title, when it's about to get to that paragraph. No one's going to beat Bruno's reign. Because WWE's on so many times, they would really have to push somebody, and the fans would probably really have to be behind somebody to have them hold that title for 8 years. Wrestling, I read on, my grandfathers told me about this, and I read online, wasn't on as often as it was, because nowadays, what do you have? You have Raw, you have a 3-hour Raw, an hour of main event. I can't really say NXT, because that doesn't count towards the title. Then you have a 2-hour SmackDown and an hour of WWE Superstars, and then you have the 3-hour pay-per-views. I think they would really have to get behind somebody. No one's going to beat Bruno's reign. I think that's impossible. I think Bruno pretty much has set the record for longest reigning WWE champion. That's just how it is. No one's ever going to beat his reign. So let's continue with this. So, by 1971, Sammartino's nearly 8 years with the gold saw him turn back all comers, large and small, leaving many spectators to assume he would simply never lose. But with the Cold War at its sights, those fans saw their worst fears realized when the Russian Ivan Koloff stunned a sold-out MSG crowd, pinning Sammartino in the middle of the ring following a knee drop from the top rope. And you can check out, I did review that match. You can check it out right up here because I did review that match. And yeah, something I didn't talk about in my review was I did talk about how Sammartino was the longest reign, but that probably put over Ivan Koloff big time because he beat the guy. He beat Bruno Sammartino's nearly 8-year reign with the title. What was it? It was 7 days. It was 7 years, 8 months, and 1 day. he beat that record. And that really put him over. That probably gave him like a, well, not a big push, but that area, but, and it also got him a lot of heat because it was, like they said, during the Russian Cold War, with the United States of America, also known as USA, and all that stuff. Everybody, he just got instant heat right away because Bruno Sammartino was the big baby face of that time frame, so that was pretty cool right there. Let's continue. Bruno Sammartino didn't have the charisma of The Rock, nor did he possess the technical power of Bret Hart, but he had the power of an ox and the uncanny ability to draw the fans' support. For an unprecedented 7 years, 8 months, and 1 day, those fans stood behind their champion as he reached heights never before seen. But on January 18th, 1971, it all came crashing down when the WWE Championship fell into the possession of the dreaded Russian Bear. And then that's it. That's the end of the chapter. But yeah, I pretty much just covered everything I wanted to cover. But yeah, like I said, no one's, I don't think, going to beat Bruno Sammartino's reign. If they do beat his reign, I'll be very shocked. But I just don't think that the fans would get behind them and the company itself wouldn't get behind them. I think it would get old nowadays because it's on so often now. It's at least on every week, but it wasn't even on. It was probably only on once a year sometimes. That's why Sammartino got as long as he had. I bet Sammartino wouldn't have gotten the reign today, so it's what it is. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I actually always like to make sure that I say what the time is and all that stuff. I usually try to do it in the beginning, but I forgot, so it's either going to be in the beginning or the end at this point, so I'm not really sure. But right now, today is September 9th, 2015, and it is 6:47 p.m., and I'm Owen Finch. You can click down below to subscribe, and I'll be back to give you a video at some other point in time.